And we're back, and today we're joined by the awesome Alex.
Alex.
New name.
That's your new name. How you going?
Really well, thank you. And I like you guys. You're so colorful. It's really nice to be here today. Like Monday and colors, you know.
Yep.
You're like a dark.
No. We got to change it up a bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You seem
That's
pumped
cool.
today. You've had a good week.
Yeah, after 32 kilometers run, yeah.
I just got tired by hearing that now.
I couldn't move for today. So that means now today I'm like, yes, I woke up and I can move. That means I'm happy.
That's good. We've actually got Jason coming from Anytime Fitness, from Tim Anytime
nice.
Fitness in like after you. So yeah, that'll help us to kind of get motivated and
Yeah.
do some exercises.
Good. A little bit of pumped on the Monday.
What? I don't know why everyone's looking at me. I'm not going to do any exercises.
Oh, come
You
on.
look like
You
I
exercise.
used to. I used to. Now
You talk. That's good.
I talk. I am exercising my jaw.
That's the most important
And your
part.
brain.
Communication.
Yeah, I exercise my jaw another way. I eat a lot as well.
Double the experience.
Yes.
Maybe you don't need to exercise. Just go for a walk. Walk is awesome.
So my favorite exercise is this. 1, 2, 3.
That's good. It gets your
Yeah,
wrist
see?
moving.
See, look at the power.
Yeah.
Look at that.
No, that's
Oh,
cool.
Crazy. See, so I told you we'll take it everywhere today. Don't worry.
I know.
We can go like this. We can go all sorts.
But that's the great thing. I'm never worried when I'm coming here.
Never,
That's good.
never worried and never bored.
Yeah, that's for sure.
But it's amazing, like the kind of things that you can talk about in the conversation. You can kind of go off in a tangent, and it's cool.
And we do.
And we do, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, guys, where we start?
So, yeah, you guys were talking a bit last week, so maybe we can carry on from what you were talking about then.
Last week we talked about a little bit about what is driving us, and maybe we can actually kind of bridge in. I don't know if that is correct English word, but it's basically we talk about behaviors and thinking and how actually we create the reality. And I think judgment and comparison, we started to talk about that a little bit today. It's another way of thinking, and probably just a short reminder for everyone who is listening that we are experiencing only our thinking. That's all. That means we create our reality. And I think judgment and comparison, that thinking is probably not putting us in the right space. Because when we start to compare ourselves, we usually sad, frustrated, nervous, because we don't actually adjust. Like, hey, everybody has their own journey. Maybe they are in their journey longer, or they have different conditions when they started. We just see the pictures and we just compare them.
You see
What
the,
is
the
not-
end result, and you
Yeah.
get frustrated, or
And that's, it's not really causing us great feelings. That means our thinking, it creates actually bad feeling. And it's coming from DeMartini. I don't know if you're any one of you aware, probably you are. And he always said that when we judge and compare, it's like when we put someone on pedestal or when we put someone down, doesn't matter which way, we can feel less or we can feel more. When we are in that comparison stage, like we are up or down with the energy, we actually are a little dumb. Like we really don't act from that smart perspective, because we are putting ourselves in a little bit of stress and fight and flight mode. That means it's actually a lot of cortisol, and straight away we basically don't act clearly. And I think that's very important reminder that that's how we can react or respond, how we can learn.
I guess the key thing is when you're comparing, the starting point's even false, isn't it? Because you've already said to yourself, this is the reality, and so I'm going to compare to that. But what you deem is reality is not necessarily reality, because we're influenced by those things that are around us.
Yeah. And
so many variables.
Or you said like that's better or that's worse. But from what perspective?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just because you feel that way, you say that. But maybe person next to you can see different and opposite way. And it's same with movies. When all of us will go to the movie, we will have different experience. You will think that is bad movie, you will think that is great movie. It's all perspective.
That's right. Neither's right nor wrong. And I think the media plays a big part in this as well, don't they? Because they tell us, especially in marketing media, you know, what you need to have to be healthy, what you need to have to be physically attractive to the general population, what you need to do to be successful in life.
Yeah.
And they set these standards that you take on as the reality.
Yeah.
And then you're then comparing to that reality. And what chance have you got?
I like the analogy that, you know, the grass is greener next door, and the grass is greener because that's been watered. Like, often we don't work on ourselves, but we look at other people and we go, oh, you know, they've got a better life. Well, that's because they've put in investment, they invest in time and effort and passion into what they're doing. And if we watered our own garden, our garden would look better.
That's such a great point. I like that. It's definitely, we don't see or we don't compare all picture. We compare part of it. And I think it's really hurting a lot of people as well. Like you said, there's a lot of like what society expect or what success should look like. But we can't box people into same box. Like they're not same. We are all different. All of us here, we are all from different countries. We have different culture background, and what is good for you doesn't need to be great for me. And it's just so normal.
Yeah.
But still, there is society putting us in the boxes. We should all behave one way. We should all be one way. It's just, I think that's when we suppress, I guess, ourselves.
And it's what we said before about the movies. People always fall into that, you know, that trap of, I do not read the summary. I do not want to know what I'm going to see. I just go see it.
Yep. So you've got no kind of...
No, I just want to get that raw feeling come to me. Same thing with books sometimes. Rarely, but I don't want to read what it's about. I want it to get that, you know, get that stimulus at me.
Yeah.
At the same time, well, you got to live your life and make it real, you know? And it's your life. That's what you're forgetting. It's your life, not your next door neighbour's. So you've got something different going. He might have had what Alex said, other bases, other foundations to start what he did. He might have had the money from his parents and, you know, made that mansion. You can't start like that.
No.
You know, you got to start another way.
And also that you're comparing, they might have been doing it for 20, 30 years or whatever, and they've had time to build up.
Yeah.
And you're just starting out. And
I think this also comes back to what we spoke about last week, which is
sorry. Last week.
No, go ahead then.
Go.
I was going to say is that when we think about motivation, we're thinking about something that we want to strive for. And I guess comparison can also cause us to strive for something that's actually something that at the heart of it, we don't need or don't want, but we believe we do.
That's the big one.
Yeah, it's like the concept of the American dream. You know, the big house, the picket fence, the
2.1 kids.
You know, the 2.1 kids, the car. Well, you know what? That would never work for me, like at all. But the reality
but it will work for me.
But the reality is that that's the benchmark. That's that box.
Yeah.
And so people, you know, work their butt off, or they go on this journey or feel the pressure to do this, and they think that that's the motivation because they're not really looking at what they want themselves. Is that kind of where you were going with it?
This is great what you said, and I was thinking now I can just add a little bit.
Yeah, love it.
When you think about kids, you know, like somebody just told me that actually that was really great because there was one of my friends said that, you know, son came and was like, I want PlayStation 3 or whatever it is, I don't know. And it's like, why? And it's like, everybody has that. All my friends has that. He was like, name 2. He couldn't. Because it's generalization. Mm-hmm. That means we kind of think that everybody who's rich has big house. Everybody who's rich has something. But then you go to that wealth. Like I had a lot of friends that were really wealthy. And they drove like super old car. They was like, I don't want anyone to know. It's just, you know, like it's my stuff. It's personal. I don't want people to know how much I have. And I think it's, again, perspective. Like what is actually really wealth? Is that health? Is that vitality? Is that happiness? Is that like I don't need to show off, but I can just be happy. I can do what I love. And not everybody needs to know what I'm doing when I'm wealthy. I mean, I think it's all, again, perception. I think most people this is funny thing, but most people that I know and they have all these amazing big cars in front of the house, they have loans, they have mortgages.
Most of it's not even theirs, is it? It's all
they
mortgaged.
have nothing than suffering.
No.
And I honestly wouldn't be happy in their shoes. All what I have or what I want to have is actually when I can afford it and can buy it. And because it's struggle life, you know, when you still just borrowing or taking money from somewhere and it's not actually what you were able to create. That's another perspective, probably just to see it from different perspective, I guess.
And that is another trap that you go to, because that is another comparison.
Yeah,
they're all borrowing, they're all lending, they all have good cars. I have to get one too.
Yeah, but you
So
just look at a car. You're like, oh, he has the car. Here's the car. I should get a car. And
But I think some people are all about that image, aren't they? They want to project an image that, because if they have the latest sports car, then everyone's going to think they're doing really well for themselves. And it's all, you know, they might be really hurting underneath and really their life might be terrible, but they want to project this image that everything's fantastic. And for some people, that means...
The question is, what do we want to have? Do we want to have peace and be happy? Or do we want to have material stuff and be not happy? Like, I'm not saying that's the sticker, like you must be unhappy when you have something. No, that's not true. I'm just thinking like more when we're striving just for that material stuff, what we are happy to, I guess, give away for that, you know, like
there's got to be some. There's got to be something. Like if you've got lots of,
you know,
what's the catch?
Then surely if you've got lots of material stuff and you've got lots of money coming in, you've got to somehow like work for that money. You know, you've got to have your own business or whatever. And if you're so invested in that, that means you're not going to have quality time with the people that matter.
Yeah. I think I will just go back to what we talked about last time, because there was something that you started a little bit, and I was thinking that as an example with kids, like when they're in the school, because we didn't learn how to communicate. We talk about a little bit communication, and again, it's coming back to our judgment and comparison and perspective. When you have two kids, you know, and one kid is not, for example, involved or doesn't want to talk to people, and they start to make fun of that person or that kid, and it's kind of like out of, you know, it's just that one. Like it's different, but we judge as a kids. We always judge because nobody was, you know, telling us that maybe have a look from their perspective. But there is something that can go on in the other person's life, and we never see that. We always see the kind of that other perception, like oh, that person doesn't talk to me, or that person didn't say hi to me. It's always about us.
Yeah.
But again, it's not. We just judge the other person based on nothing, based on not information. We don't have information about the person's life. And we judge straight away, like, oh, this person doesn't like us, or this person hates us. We create these stories about other people. You know, when you have someone, you're walking on the street and you meet someone on the other side of the street, you wave, you know, like, hey, how are you? Like, you try to scream and the person doesn't wave back. You meet that person, I don't know, a few months later, and first of all, you thought probably, oh, he hates me, he doesn't want to talk to me. Oh, what did I do wrong? And that's our first thought, because it's judgment. We judge ourselves or we judge other person.
Yeah.
But after a few months when we meet that person, he will be like, oh, I didn't see you. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's just
that's often the case. We always tend to go worst case scenario, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
I usually want an answer.
Yeah. So you're the kind of person to follow them home and go, why did you ignore me?
I'll send a message, or I'll give them a call.
Yeah.
Maybe the next day, to just give that time to settle. Okay? You saw me. Why didn't you wave? Is anything wrong? Or something like, yeah, I have to get that answer. I have to get that clearance.
You need that closure.
Yeah,
so if you don't get that, does that eat away at you?
Yeah, it does.
And that's what a lot of people stay with, like with that judgment and with that thought, that means with that story. And we create really bad emotions.
I want to, what we're saying is that it's all about ourselves, our self-healing as well. So if I know that's going to eat away at me, I've got to do something about it.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that's the way to deal with it. I've got to deal with it. You got to fess up. That's what I tell everyone. Fess up, own it, go for it. Accountability. There's nothing if you look the other way or say, oh, maybe he's got something wrong with me and I did something wrong. Why? What did I do? Tell me. I've got to find out.
Yep. No, that sounds cool.
Looks like you master your journey.
Oh.
Yeah. You have like this light.
You seek the truth, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And I speak it. I seek it and I speak it. So that's what I need.
Yeah. And that's therefore one of something that's really important to you. It's one of your values.
Yeah, I will.
That's great.
I forgive, but I don't forget. You know, but that's how it is. But I will not judge, and I will not, keep it like a grudge. It is that I'll tell you off. You did this. It's wrong. Don't do it again. You do it again to me, you've lost me.
Yeah.
That's how it is. I'm just a
Wow.
bit.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm a bit.
Then
harsh.
you're a little bit ahead, yeah. Well, you're
I'm
like
not ahead. I'm a bit
I
harsh.
think, no, I don't think it's harsh. I think to say that I don't judge, that's massive. Well,
Yeah.
I think that's because we all judge. Once in a time,
Oh yeah, we all judge. Yeah,
and I think it's amazing that you feel, like you actually can say that because it's important. I think it's super important to live in that space, coming from heart, honesty, and I guess acceptance, and not coming from the judgment, fear, or frustrations, and don't hold the grudge and all that feelings, negative feelings. I teach people that actually it's like a graph, it's like a small drawing. I always said, because when we see things, it's our perspective, like everything is neutral. When we kind of translate it into story, to our thinking, it's starting to create feelings. That means we actually, through our filters, create a perception and that feelings and emotions.
Yep.
And I said, based on that, basically how we think, we create then choices. That is 25,000 choices a day, what is crazy. And that's from what we wear, what we do, how we drink, what we say, if we say hi to someone, everything. Based on that thinking, we create choices and decisions, and that therefore we create results. That means you can have that bad story or negative story coming from the judgment and comparison, or anger or frustrations, or you can actually have a look from different perspective and say, okay, but what if it's actually positive story? What if I will accept everything what happened, and what if there is nothing bad around that, is actually all good? Like really come from the love and acceptance. I know it's really hard to say people come from love. I'm not saying you need to love everyone and hug everyone, but it's that first thought is always the other person doesn't want to hurt you.
Be
Think
kind.
that way. Yeah.
Be kind.
Be kind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think in the world today, that's what we need more of.
Oh,
Is
don't tell me.
Yes.
We need a lot of that.
yeah.
It comes to one thing: lack of communication.
Mm.
You do not speak. If you do not speak, if you do not speak up, or do you not sit and talk about things, you have.
I will give you an example, because it's not even communication. It all start with our thinking. Because when you think about two sides of that, we can come from anger and frustration and judgment, or we can come from love and acceptance. Now imagine, very simple example I usually do or talk about, because it's super, probably everybody experienced that. We have this partner that is not coming home. Now we preparing the dinner, our anniversary, and it's amazing. We put all effort to that, like really beautiful dinner. Now we're waiting home, looking on the phone, like, oh my God, like he's late, and we start to be really nervous. Now, the first thing what we do is our thought. He's cheating. He forgot.
Mm.
He doesn't care. That's the first thing we do. We always do it because it's just kind of become natural. After 3-4 years of age, we start to actually see the negative stuff. And we think about stuff that is actually not true, but we create it. And now when we start to talk about that, like, oh, he's late, we start to create an anger inside. And imagine that you're like on the phone and it's like, now he's not even answering the messages. And now he's actually, phone is off. He's with someone else. Now it's like that anger. It's like, okay, I will just take the dinner and put it to the rubbish bin. I'm just so angry. And now when your partner comes home, you are super angry and you're like, oh, where have you been? You start to scream because you're angry, because you created anger inside. But on the other hand, when you come from that love or compassion or acceptance, we can call it whatever we want, but it's coming from ease. It's basically, okay, my partner is not answering the phone, it's off. Maybe something happened. I'm sure he's probably buying some, flowers because the person loves us, because we love the person. And whatever happens, he will explain when he comes. That means you put dinner somewhere, in the oven, and you wait. When the partner will come, your choice will be put the dinner out and say, let's have a late dinner, like tell me what was happening. Are you okay? And we actually have nice results. At the end of the day, we have beautiful evening and we probably talk. Then the first example was probably argument, and maybe one person will leave the house. That means we create the results based on our stories. And that's the biggest point, or that's always the big aha moment for people.
Yeah,
We fill in blanks. don't we? We
Yeah.
feel we create our own answers rather
Yes.
than looking for the truth.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's a lot based on our self-worth as well. Like, if we don't believe that we're deserving of a good relationship, then we're going to constantly question why the person's with us. And, you know, when that situation happens, we're always going to go to that worst case scenario.
Yeah. But when you say what we don't deserve, I always think, okay, but are you coming 100% from love? And do you give that person everything what you can? Because when we doubt ourselves is when we actually don't give probably full love and 100% of care. I believe it's coming from us. All doubts.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Tell me what you think,
You
yeah.
can give. I might disagree.
Yeah,
but,
yeah,
you know,
disagree.
I
like that.
But, yeah. I like this conflict, you know,
Yeah,
but it's
yeah,
not.
it's great.
But I think
Resolve
that
it.
people, there are people that do love and they do show it, but they do not accept the love that someone might give to them as well. It might not be enough, or it might be too much, and they think either what Trish said, they're not good enough, or oh, I've done something wrong. What's going on? So there is a medium. It's not always, you know, my self-worth. It's how much love I'm getting as well. You know.
Yeah,
But
so,
you
yeah,
just
I
said
ta-
it.
yeah. But I take that as, I guess, a step further again, is that I think to have a capacity to genuinely have the best form of love, you got to start with yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have good self-love and you are honest with who you are and everything that, you know, your good, your bad, your strengths, your weaknesses, from there you develop a strong sense of self. And then automatically by having a strong sense of self, I think you project out the kinds of things that you want in return.
Yes, I absolutely agree. Yeah, it's you actually mentioned that like if you didn't do anything wrong, but when you did something wrong, that's when you can't really probably accept the love, because we have that kind of compass inside, you know, like we have probably some measurement we don't know about. But I think when you said when we are on that step that we fully love, we really express everything and we know what we want back, that's when we will get that back, because that's what we fully give. And I think that's when we work on yourself. Like that's the major thing, that to really understand who we are and accept. And you mentioned that, you know, bad and wrong, or good side, dark side or light side. And I think that's the major thing that a lot of people fight with. Like, first of all, our past doesn't define us. And yes, we all have dark side, you know, like we are not living in light. We are not all light. We always, like everyone from us lied once, you know, or did something wrong. We can probably talk about those experiences. And yes, we don't need to be proud of ourselves that we did. I did so many things that I'm not proud of myself. I don't like them, but they don't define me. They just help me to grow through a journey and help me to become who I am. That means I accept them, and it takes time. Like to accept, you know, the dark side can be challenging.
And I think
Well,
as long as you
hard.
learn from it and it's part of your growth, then it's part of who you are, you know.
Exactly. Bad things are good things, you know. Perception.
Cool.
It's okay to be bad. Once in a while.
Once in a while. Look, I think bad, you know, that's the thing. Like we don't want to hurt other people and ourselves. I think that's the major thing, just to be careful with that. Depends, you know, again, perception. What is good, what is bad.
Yeah, don't take people for granted
Yeah.
as well. Don't be a given on the other hand.
No.
So don't make assumptions. You know, don't get carried away with your own perception or, you know, your false reality, and just, take a step back.
Yeah, it's easier said than done.
Of course
it needs work.
Yeah.
You know, we're just saying what we should do, but, you know.
This is a long process.
Yeah, it
like
does.
all that structure, what I was explaining on, you know, when your partner is coming late for dinner.
It's taken me years.
It took me 2 years to actually build up on that respond instead of react, and start to build up on my response that is in ease and is coming actually from compassion. I wasn't like that. You know, that was not me before. I was on hormones. I was on IVF. I was crazy. I was like this. When you say something, I was already angry. It was like that, and it wasn't nice. But I learned.
And you must have come a long way from that.
Yeah, it's only 2.5 years ago
Wow.
when I had the last miscarriage, and it's good now. But
Yeah.
it was a it was a ride. But it's a lot of learning about yourself. You know, like we all go through some kind of crisis, and people have addictions, or people have traumas, and all those things are there to learn from and grow from. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
say it that way.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Okay, well, I think that takes it to the end of today. So we're going to put a song on now, and we'll love to have you back in next week. Yeah.
Cool. I will be here.
Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank you for coming.
This is
Alex.
Kylie and Spinning Around.